everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Mind of Sai Marie. Man, I don't know how your guys' Friday is going, but I hope that it's going well. The daily chronicles of public weirdness are here. So I have to tell you guys about Sabai Tai and the limited time offer man. I know you're probably already laughing just at that headline. I mean, I can't blame you. But anyway, it is a strange time to be alive. You can't go out in public without being cast an unwilling extra in someone else's bizarre life monologue. The weird, creepy, awkward, and downright comical things that happen on the daily are starting to feel like a big cosmic joke, and lately the punchlines just keep getting louder. Case in point would be this evening. Around 6 p.m., my daughter and I went to Sabai, a lovely Thai restaurant where we had a patio reservation. It was one of those warm days where the sun is still beaming and it was like 87 degrees, but under the restaurant's umbrella canopy, it was perfectly pleasant. It was honestly beautiful. We were casually enjoying ourselves, people watching, soaking up what was supposed to be a normal evening out, and just enjoying each other's time, right? Then, as if on cue, in comes today's main character. At least that's how he perceived himself anyway. This man came storming through, shouting at the top of his lungs about what a real American man is and how great they are. It was like he was auditioning for a street preacher slot on the Vegas Strip, and it was hilarious. He wasn't just loud, he was on a mission, it seemed, and unfortunately, that mission involved approaching the area where my daughter and I were sitting, along with about 5 or 6 other women in the vicinity, some dining, some working. "Hey, ladies, I'll take any of you out. Limited time offer. Hurry, hurry, and accept," he started yelling with his chest puffed out. It was just like grinning like a fiend, as if he was the golden ticket to any of these women's hearts. As if we were supposed to drop our pad thai and leap at the chance of a man who had clearly mistaken public harassment for charm. He kept walking, still screaming about his self-declared greatness, as if the sheer volume would convince the universe to reward him. And just when we thought he had made his exit, he circled back around the building, still rambling on in his real American man credentials, like a car alarm that wouldn't shut off. And it was crazy. What could have escalated into something worse was gracefully diffused by the restaurant staff, however, so kudos to Sabai. Our waiter came over to apologize immediately. He was visibly embarrassed, and even though this was none of his fault, he wanted to do everything to reassure us that everything was okay. And then one of the female workers approached discreetly to let us know what direction the man had gone, so that when we were ready to leave, we could go the opposite way of him. It was a small gesture, but it spoke volumes. It was proactive, kind, and it was very appreciated. So kudos to the staff for that. But here's the thing, this kind of nonsense happens all the time. It's unsettling, awkward, and frankly, it's exhausting. Yet somehow it's also become comically predictable. The world outside feels like it's being written by a chaotic AI with no editorial filter, where every public space is a stage and women are perpetually forced to navigate these ridiculous intrusions with grace and vigilance. What's worse is how often the burden falls on us to stay alert, to plan an exit route, to rely on the kindness of strangers, to steer clear of the next public nuisance who thinks their entitlement is our entertainment. And still, we try to laugh it off because what else can you do when a man offers himself up like a clearance sale item and calls it chivalry? The absurdity is real, it's wearying, but it's also why we keep sharing these stories because calling it out with humor is sometimes the only way to take the sting out of the constant, exhausting awareness women carry in public. Maybe one day we'll get back to the kind of world where dinner reservations are just that, but until then, welcome to the daily chronicles of public weirdness. And yeah, I'm just really thankful that people were vigilant and aware and you know, it's not funny at all, but in the midst of this happening, as this man was doing this, I literally did bust out laughing. I bursted out laughing because I was astonished and I was laughing in mostly shock. Like, are you kidding me right now? It was the very last place I expected to hear someone going off. It's just wild. What's wild is how it's not even shocking, but yet it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, ah, yes, of course, today's side quest is a man yelling about real American men while offering himself up like a limited time promo that I'm gonna miss out on. It's a layered, multi-level crap cake of cringe entitlement and randomness that are just peak dystopian sitcom, and that's how I feel the world is becoming, like, dystopian situation comedy. We're the ones that are sitting here watching it occur as it's happening, and it's kinda crazy, but underneath all of the laugh it off energy, there's the undercurrent of why is this normal now? Like, the constant public performance of fragile egos, weird power flexes, and the weird entitlement to women's attention, because it's like this exhausting mix of surreal and bonkers at the same time. I mean, just just thinking about it is why I'm saying Daily Chronicles of Public Weirdness could just be a series that we continue going on here. And I really think that I could probably start taking some of you guys' public stories to talk about this. So if anybody is interested, please do reach out to me to let me know about your daily chronicles of public weirdness and the kind of strange experiences of similar type that you might be going through. And I mean, realistically, it was an unsettling and bizarre experience, and I'm glad that my daughter and I are safe and the restaurant staff handled it with such care and awareness. But incidents like this, where someone is publicly disruptive and aggressively inserting themselves into others' personal space, is not just jarring, it's intimidating because you don't know if they're going to escalate it into a direct confrontation with you while you're just having dinner in a public place. It's frustrating when you're out simply trying to enjoy a peaceful evening and a stranger's behavior turns the atmosphere tense and weird. And this guy's comments weren't just disrespectful and objectifying. To mention the limited time offer line like it was some twisted marketing pitch was both absurd and grossly inappropriate. But again, the way the staff responded shows that they were mindful of our safety, and that is reassuring. However, situations like this can linger emotionally, and afterthoughts of what if he had gotten more aggressive and why do men like that think behavior like this is okay will often haunt women longer than the actual moment because of the what if scenarios and the danger that lies therein. And it's exhausting how women so often have to be on guard in public like that, even during something as simple as a dinner out, having to calculate exit routes or rely on the kindness of the staff so that they can get out of the way so that the staff can try to manage the unpredictability of an entitled man's outburst is just the way it is on the daily here anymore. And um again, Sabai, I just want to thank you so much for your professionalism. And I want to praise those staff members for what they did today because that was a wonderful and exemplary response to something that they shouldn't have to deal with either. As the world spins, we all just kind of, you know, thrive in spite of these things and do our best, don't we? And I really just want to say thank you to the staff and recommend them because, man, their food is delicious. The pineapple fried rice that they have is just amazing. I highly recommend it. I did otherwise fully enjoy my evening, and that happened, probably maybe 20 or so minutes before we were about to leave anyway. So it wasn't like it was something that happened at the start and totally completely changed the course of our dinner. It happened towards the end of it, but there were people that had just been seated, and I surely hope that this guy just went on about his business, and hopefully, if he's out there looking for love, he will go to the proper places to find it in the future. But I just wanted to talk about that tonight. But also at the same time, there was like free music that was going on over there. And we did walk over there by the stage still. We didn't allow this to deter us from doing the other things we were going to do while there. But we did go a different direction, and we didn't end up staying for any music after this because that was just a little bit off-putting. And, that's what I'm saying, when you're 2 women alone going out, and it was in daylight hours and everything, and you're sitting there and you're enjoying your time together, and then all of a suddenly this boisterous interruption comes out of nowhere, and then, has this egotistical launch of asking all the women in a vicinity if they wanna go on a date, yet at the same time saying it's a limited time offer. Me and my daughter kinda joked about it as he walked away, and I said, "You know, it's ironic that he did that at a patio full of women who were taking themselves out on a Friday evening." She goes, "I know, right? Like, they even needed his limited time offer." I said, "He probably couldn't take them to do as great of things as they do for themselves anyway." And I think that that's something to stay for all this, because walking through crazily like that and thinking that women in that vicinity are going to hop on that is pretty wild. The way to insert yourself into speaking with women in that vicinity would have been to been more suave and understand they were about to have a concert. So ask some ladies to dance, show them what's so great about you, since you're such a wonderful American man, instead of making declarations that you have yet to prove in any way. But yeah, that was how my Friday evening went. And I otherwise have been pretty much just, tying up the loose ends for the week as we come into August. I am happy that August is finally here. It's going to be an abundant month. I'm declaring it now. And for everyone that's listening as well, it's going to be prosperity, abundance, alignment, all those good things. And we are going to see the fall come in quickly and enjoy the harvest season as it comes. Because, of course, you know that today starts Lunasa, which is part of the calendar of the year, the will of the year, and is the start of one of the harvests. So, like the pre-harvest. So that's pretty cool. And that began just, today, so that's pretty awesome. And, if that's something that you are interested in observing, you can just proclaim that August is going to be an abundant month for you. And you can bake bread or make something with blueberries, light a candle. Just be intentional about what you want to manifest as you're going into this next month. And I am personally very excited because there's a lot of fun things that are going to be coming with other podcasts that I have been a part of. I'm not sure if you all know, but I am the creative lead and director producer of Around the Table with the AOTR, and I am also that for Histories of Horror. On the AOTR, I co-host with the founders Kendra Souter and Beverly L. Anderson, and we discuss advocacy, activism, authorship, and just the state of being anti-fascist in this wild situation that we find ourselves in as authors and creators in an ever-changing landscape due to the current administration. And then, of course, with Histories of Horror is a 1 hour bi-weekly true crime and paranormal historical podcast where with host AL Knuckles and myself, we talk about different true crimes, paranormal stories, paranormal locations, some of our experiences with those things, and the histories of horror associated with them. So, our next episode is August the 10th, and we're going to be discussing Waverly Hills. I'm really excited about that. Like I've said before, I am looking forward to hearing what AL has to say because she's actually visited Waverly Hills, and she had a paranormal experience while she was there. So I think that will be interesting to hear how it was for her walking through that sanitarium and what she's seen. And then, of course, our pilot episode just premiered last Sunday, and we discussed the Jacob Hendershot murder case that occurred in 2011 in Parker, Florida, with the hybrid vampire werewolf, claimed she was a vampire werewolf, and her crew of friends who decided to ambush him, which is something you guys can go check out. All of these podcasts are available on Spotify. And I was recently on a podcast that I've been on a few times with Kyle Cannon called Speak Seductively. It's usually co hosted by Kyle and Lily Cannon. But the last few times, Kyle's been the only one that I've been there to speak to. But him and I are going to be doing another recording session soon. And I'm excited to talk to him about some sex positive themes, such as why I am a Volcel and why I have been that way for so long, and agency and autonomy, and a couple of other subjects that are correlating with that. But yes, I'm excited to be talking to all of these people about these different topics. And our discussions are always really fun and they're insightful and they're eye opening. And I really appreciate that. So I just kind of wanted to talk about those things a little bit with you guys tonight. I just put out my newest Substack newsletter, my monthly newsletter. If you guys are not already subscribed, please go get subscribed and you can get my monthly updates. I promise I won't spam you. At most I send 2, maybe 3, but usually it's only 1. And that just depends on if I have a lot going on that month that I feel like needs to be shared with others. But I cannot believe it, honestly, that it is August and we only have 4 months left of 2025. And that was pretty much what I went off of with my newsletter. It's been a busy month. This last month was a busy month, and I'm hoping that this month will be equal. But I am also hoping that I'll get a few more projects in my way so I can up the money load a little bit and get through the end of the year. I found 80 total poems written by myself in my notes from 2018 to 2025, and I compiled them into a collection that I recently published. I did that in July. It was called Streaming Sentiments and Poetry. You guys can check that out right now if you're interested. I also won 2 vocal top stories for the month of July. I was really excited and proud of that. Like I just said, talking about the podcast, I launched Histories of Horror with A.L. Knuckles on July 27th, and we have 30 episodes outlined for you guys, topics that we're going to be researching and discussing over the course of the next year. Um, from July 27th till I think September 6th, or it's September 2026 anyways, has been completely planned out, and we have a episode for every 2 weeks through that time period. I got a wonderful review on Simply Scarlet. It is up and out there if you guys are interested. I got this one says overall rating is 4.5 stars and the spice rating is 4 chili peppers. Let's get this out of the way. Simply Scarlet is not your bubble bath kind of romance. It doesn't want to be. It's raw, provocative, and at times deeply uncomfortable, but that's the point. This isn't 50 Shades. This is a story about what happens when BDSM is wielded like a weapon instead of a shared trust, and the result, a blistering introduction to a world where submission is stripped, not gifted. And that was a review from To Be Ruined Bookfluencer on Simply Scarlet. And yeah, it's been 6 whole months since Kendra, Bev, and I launched the AOTR. This month makes the 6th month, and it's crazy that that's been the way it's went. I can't believe how fast it's just flown by, but I am proud that I have built this with these ladies, and I am really looking forward to what's coming next for us. I do want to talk a little bit for a moment about both Bev and Kendra apart from the AOTR. Kendra has a story called The Dark View, which is in her Miss Hyde collection, and it is available now. It says, here's her blurb. Blythe faces new revelations as well as new threats. The world she lives in has become much smaller than it once was. Her attraction to Emmett is unquenchable, as is her willingness to fall deeply into his arms with every waking moment. Blythe finally has the relationship she has always longed for with just one small hitch. Hyde. Adam has Hyde well within his grasp as the 2 sinister alter egos play fast and loose with bloodlust, dismemberment, and sheer torture, all while Blythe and Emmett are forced to watch or partake. Blythe hopes it can't get worse when her world crashes. Lauren makes startling discoveries, and Sarah makes an ultimatum that could change the course of Blythe's life forever. When backed into a corner, do you cower in fear or come out swinging with everything you have? By Kendra Cider, The Dark of You, or excuse me, Souder. I cannot speak, it seems, tonight. And then let's move on to talk a little bit about Beverly L. Anderson and Jay Foster have a book out called Chains of Blood. Bellamy Delacroix thinks he has a perfectly ordinary life. He's navigating his identity with a blended family, including his mother, stepfather, and 3 step siblings. He's learning to accept himself and striving to explore the world around him. However, strange creatures searching for Bellamy blow in the side of their house. His mother then reveals a secret. She's an angel, and these creatures are demons looking for them. He escapes when his mother destroys them and herself and gets help from a friend of his mother's. Then, though, she too falls to the demons. Without knowing it, he steps into a world that will change everything about the entire universe around him. A world where extraplanar creatures war with each other and Bellamy's entire existence is a mystery which they want to solve. He begins to wonder who his friends really are and if the lines between good and evil are so thick. Journey with Bellamy as he navigates a new life that he never imagined could happen. His experiences range from incredible to horrific, yet he always remains the kind, gentle person he started life as. That is Chains of Blood by Beverly L. Anderson and Jay Foster. In another little preview, we've got Puppy, The Men of Wade Man, Book 1, coming from Summer Waters. It's on pre-order now. This is her blurb. Christine is a woman plagued by a traumatic past. She attends a concert not expecting to find love, but fate has other plans when she meets the lead vocalist of the band, Wade Man, Tobias Schwartz. Tobias is a man who doesn't believe in love. Then he meets Christine, and his view on love changes completely. They fall in love instantly and start a whirlwind romance. But that is all endangered when Christine's best friend Victoria tries to inject herself into their relationship. Will they be able to make it through this stronger than ever, or will they let the pressure caused by Victoria's efforts tear them apart? You can get Puppy, Book 1 of The Men of Wade Man from Summer Waters on pre-order now. On August the 28th, there's a new book coming from the lovely international best-selling author Lenny Lawless, Berserker's Motorcycle Club series. She's going to have the entire MC available. The setting of the series is the mid-1980s before cell phones, texting, the internet, social media, and flat-screen TVs. The music world changed forever with MTV and when songs were listened to on video cassette tapes. Pagers and payphones were the quickest way to communicate, aside from handwritten letters. This was the decade when bikers rode on shovelheads, panheads, and knuckleheads, when mainstream society viewed the man with long hair covered in tattoos riding a motorcycle as a one-percenter, the outlaw. Get the Berserkers motorcycle series from Lenny Lawless, available in totality as a collection on August the 20th. Have you been looking to get into ghostwriting? Because if you have, I have the book just for you. For those who dare to write without credit, but never without impact, this is your roadmap. Challenging the Status Quo, 20 Lessons on Successful Freelance Ghostwriting by Sai Marie Johnson. You can pick up my nonfiction guide on how to become a successful ghostwriter right now and learn more about how to dive into this career path for yourself. Ghostwriting is more than writing behind the scenes, it's mastering the art of powerful anonymity. In Challenging the Status Quo, 20 Lessons on Successful Freelance Ghostwriting, professional ghostwriter and best-selling author Sai Marie Johnson pulls back the curtain on one of the most misunderstood writing careers in publishing and media. With 2 decades of experience in branding, storytelling, and client collaboration, Johnson offers a sharp, accessible guide filled with real-world examples, expert techniques, and practical wisdom. Each of the 20 lessons explores a key skill every ghostwriter needs, from deep listening and voice matching to client management, ethical boundaries, and building a sustainable business. Whether you're a freelance writer ready to pivot or a working ghost looking to grow, this book helps you to step confidently into the invisible but essential role of professional ghostwriting. You can get Challenging the Status Quo right now and begin learning about how to be a successful freelance ghostwriter today. That is my show for this evening. I am ever so grateful to all of you for tuning in, and as always, I will be back to talk with you more on another episode of The Mind of Sai Marie. Until then, y'all have a great weekend and a wonderful and prosperous August. Good night.